there. Welcome back to Zero Production Value Movie Reviews. As always, I am Eric Hoernke, and today I'm going to be discussing the Academy Award nominee for Best Picture in 1980, Tess, directed by Roman Polanski. It's not a very widely seen movie, I imagine. Now, I will say to start that this movie is in English. However, the accents were to a point in places where I did find it helpful to watch with subtitles. So I'm throwing that out there. Like I said, this was from 1980. It was a high-profile adaptation of the Thomas Hardy novel, Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Stars a very young Nastassja Kinski as the title protagonist. It was very well received at the time, garnering 6 Academy Award nominations and wins for cinematography, art direction, costume design. And if you know anything about the Academy Awards, especially in that era, they just drool over period pieces as far as those kind of awards go. Art direction, cinematography, anything like that, that's the bread and butter of those awards. It also landed noms for Best Picture, which is why it landed on my radar, because I'm attempting to watch all the Best Picture nominees ever, and Director and Score, but it failed to capture any of those 3. So I sat down to this, and it was very much an unknown quantity. I had never read the book, so I had no idea what I was in store for, and I was just crossing my fingers because I was so worried that this was going to be a 3-hour period piece snooze fest. Like, I don't even know the first inkling of what the plot was about. To my surprise, I became actually fairly quickly engaged in the plight of our heroine and what she was going through and what her ultimate destination was going to be. I actually got kind of into the story, which seems weird for this period piece drama. It's not something that you would think would just grab you and, not let go. So this is the story, as I said, of Tess. She's a poor country girl, but beautiful. They're, like I said, a poor family. Her father is nothing but a drunkard with basically no prospects and seems to have pissed away everything the family has through drink. I forget how many, but there was something like 5 or 6 kids. Tess seems to be the oldest, right in that maybe like late teens-ish era. I don't know, I'm just sort of speculating. I don't know if they actually, I don't think they ever actually said what her age was supposed to be, or if they did, I didn't get it. So, to start, at a random happenstance, the father finds out this knowledge. So this family that Tess is a part of, they are known where they are at as the D'Urbervilles. So through no fault of his own, the father stumbles across the knowledge that they are actually of a noble lineage, the D'Urbervilles, one of the oldest houses that goes all the way back to the times of William the Conqueror. So with this knowledge, they know that there are other D'Urbervilles that live somewhere. And so they concoct this plan that they're going to send Tess to this family to basically see if she can get money. They lost their horse or something, so she's going to try to get money from them, and she's really not too keen on this idea, but once again, family obligation becomes a pretty big deal throughout the course of this narrative. So she goes off, and she actually does end up getting, they don't just give her money, but they give her a job. And the head of the family is this blind, old, seemingly kindly, but she's sort of not with it, lady. So really, the focus is on the son, who's this young sort of lordling, and he's sort of pompous and arrogant, and he takes a liking to Tess, who does not reciprocate, and he pursues her ad nauseum, and eventually his wooing leads to an assault of a sexual nature. So this starts Tess down essentially a tragic path that would go through from here for the rest of her life, basically. And she has to balance like what's happened here with this guy Alec and the fallout, and with what she wants in life, you know, happiness and love, which seems attainable for a time, but then is sort of wrenched away from her in sort of the cruelest, almost the cruelest way imaginable. It was actually kind of difficult to watch without being like ridiculously upset. This is kind of a story of like Tess just getting screwed over by like every male in her life. And then she also has to come to grips with the harsh reality of what she has to do in order to keep her family afloat. And to some degree that includes her. So it's kind of hard to see her go from the young, innocent ingenue all the way to sort of damaged, jaded, kept woman by sort of the end sequence. Now she is able to break free, but the cost of doing so is extreme, to say the least. I will not. I shouldn't care about spoilers with this, but I don't think, like I said, a lot of people have seen this. I don't know how many people really know the book very well, but we'll just say the cost is extreme and leave it at that. Now, I questioned how she did things, like, you know, her decision-making process. Like maybe she could have done something a little different to avoid consequences of her actions. However, one thing I did learn in my sort of researching my review is that the role of Alec in the movie, because I think this was a PG movie, the role of Alec's predatory nature was downplayed apparently a lot in the movie. And if with that knowledge, I think what she does becomes a little bit more understandable from that perspective. So this was a very elegant, sumptuously shot film by Polanski and his design team and the cinematographer, and it deserves all those accolades that it received. And I was pleasantly surprised at how much I did actually enjoy the movie. If not, it's not a happy story, but I just did enjoy the movie. And it was also another thing I learned in the research is that you see at the beginning that it's for Sharon. And it was actually apparently Sharon Tate who suggested this as a film project to Polanski. And as we know, she was murdered in the Manson family business. And then he went on later to kind of do this sort of as an homage to her, which is, sweet to say the least. She was actually, had she lived, she probably would have been in the starring role as Tess. So I'm going to say, if you're a fan of classic literature or period pieces in general, you should seek out this kind of hidden gem, because, like I said, I think it kind of, in this day and age is kind of probably under the radar, not, it's not very well heralded, so I don't think a lot of people have seen it who hadn't already seen it from back in the day. So for all that, I'm going to give Tess, from 1980, directed by Roman Polanski, a B+. I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching my movie review. I enjoyed making it. Like, subscribe, leave some comments down below if you please. I wouldn't mind hearing a little something, something. As always, I'm Eric Hoernke. That rhymes with turnkey. And this is a production of Zero Value. Thanks for watching.